Hey, it's Chaz, and today we're going to be talking about a better process to use schema markup in local SEO. Before I dive into it, I'm Chaz Edward, the Director of Local SEO Strategy at Chaz Edward Local Marketing. I'm also the founder or co-founder of brands such as Web20 Ranker, Local Viking, and the local SEO community, 12,000 plus member local marketing private group in Facebook. We love new members. Please join if you haven't. But today we're really going to dive into a better process for your schema. This is going to allow you to connect your entities better, feed your data to Google better, really just a much better process. So Google doesn't just rank pages, it ranks entities. All right, before we have any discussion on schema, let's just update ourselves on entities and Google Knowledge Graph. Key components of SEO. So I'm going to repeat it. Google doesn't rank just pages, it ranks entities. And entities are connected through relationships. The Knowledge Graph is Google's database of known entities. It's mapping out how businesses, locations, brands, and services relate to one another. It's the exact same thing that structured data does. It's why structured data is a game changer in SEO. And we want to use nested schema. Nested schema is the way to go, and we're going to get into that. What is nested schema versus stacked schema? Everybody's talking about stacking schema when you should in fact be nesting your schema under @graph, which we'll get into. All right, if Google sees your local business schema and it only contains your name and address, and it's not intricately connected to your organization, service, reviews, etc., and those are separate schemas, Google does not see a complete profile. They do not see a complete entity there, right? So we want to feed them a complete entity by keeping the schemas connected as much as possible. On the vast majority of cases, you can nest your schemas. I would caution you against using schemas from plugins. They're going to put it site-wide. It's going to make it a little bit harder to nest your schema if you use those. I always prefer manual page-by-page schema. Allows it to nest on each page. So what's the difference between stacked schema versus nested schema? Both approaches do add layers of structured data, but one is far superior for SEO. So let's start with stacked schema, where each entity is written separately without using @graph to interconnect them. This method still provides structured data, but it lacks explicitity in the entity relationship, making it less effective for SEO. Nested schema uses @graph to connect the entities, explicitly links local business, organization, and services for stronger entity recognition. Here's an example of stacked schema. Obviously, these schemas are not fully built out because of size limitations, but you can see where this is a schema and then this is a schema. You can even see at the context, these are written separately. All right, that's an example of a stacked schema. Not incorrect. You can do it and it will not throw back errors or warnings if your schema is correct, but it does not create that interconnected relationship that you can use JSON LD markup for. This is stacked schema. It's less effective for SEO because it does not explicitly link these entities together. This is an organization entity, and it also is a separate local business entity. Understand, these are two separate entities now. They're not explicitly linked. Now, when we looked at a nested schema, there is one context. It's one entity, all interlinked together. This is how you feed rich data to Google in a structured manner and really create an interconnected relationship between all the details about the business. You have the website entity, the organization entity, the local business entity, the service entity. You can also add additional FAQs within these and nest those and aggregate rating, all nested together and not separate entities. These schemas are interconnected, superior for SEO. And this is how you can see results when using schema. Comparing the two, stacked schema is less effective. Each schema type exists separately. The entities are not linked, and Google has to guess the relationships between those entities. Nested schema directly links the entities within a structured hierarchy, as our example over here shows. It's one entity, all interlinked. Provides much richer data for Google's entity engine. Writing nested schema or even stacked schema can be a pain if you're trying to do it manually. That's why we have a new free schema markup generator that creates nested schema correctly. It creates the connected graph schemas for website, organization, local business, aggregate rating, service, fact, FAQ. It also has standalone schema if you need event review, etc. It does have some standalone page that can still be nested under your website and or organization, depending on what schemas are recognized within an event page. So understanding that it does still nest those correctly when allowed, but it's a tool, it's free to use. You can find it at schema-generator.chazedward.com, or just go over to my site, chazedward.com. Go in the menu, it's going to be under resources. It is the free schema generator, and it correctly nests the schema for however you want to add it. It tells you which fields are mandatory, which ones are not mandatory, and then it allows you to validate, copy the schema, download it, or validate it. So you can validate your schema really easy. And you can see here is the hierarchy of a nested schema structure using @graph. And then another great resource is my schema guide that I just published the other day, up to date, complete for local SEO. I cover every use type of schema you're going to encounter between event schemas, FAQs, how to nest your schemas. I give tons of examples of schema. Check it out also at my site at chazedward.com. Also pinned in the nav menu under resources, it's the schema. I'm calling it the expert's guide. I do not know of a more thorough guide on local schema right now. So let me know your thoughts on using the schema. I'm always available to discuss local SEO. I do consult for agencies. I've helped multiple agencies. My strategies have ranked 10,000 plus local businesses. So whether you need strategy advice, agency advice, or if you're a local business owner or franchise owner looking for a more effective way to drive local visibility to your local business or franchise, reach out at my website. And then finally, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like these videos. I'm always trying to push out valuable tips and techniques to get you better results in local SEO. Thanks for watching.